and they're talking about threatening him with insurance fraud, which I would say you could get about 20 years in prison. So that's a death sentence.
What happens to the woman who survived it, and how does that shape her worldview? What happens to the cop who worked this case for 10 years and got his guy? How did it change him?
And I did it for the money. I've got 2 kids in school. I've got a husband who, while he's a surgeon, loves to do a lot of charity work, which is a great thing. Yeah. But and I just continued to do it, and every time I did it, it would chip away at my confidence. And then I got a job.
Hi, this is Zoey. Scandal, controversy, and swirling speculation. These are the words haunting the home of Sunny Hostin and her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin. For viewers who've watched Sunny on The View, her fierce commentary and legal background have always set her apart. Now, her family is caught at the center of a federal lawsuit that could unravel everything she's built. The question on everyone's mind is, how did this high-profile couple land in a legal storm so massive that even their most loyal supporters are left stunned? Whether you're a fan of The View or just love a good mystery, the stakes here are undeniably high. With allegations of insurance fraud, rumblings of a major RICO case, and talks of a countersuit worth millions, there's more drama in this real-life saga than most people would expect from a daytime TV personality. But is there more to the story than meets the eye? Is the lawsuit legitimate, or could it be a personal or political move designed to bring the Hostin household to its knees? No one seems to have the complete picture yet, and Sunny's uncharacteristic silence only amplifies the tension. Normally outspoken, the seasoned TV host is keeping her cards close to her chest this time. Some say that means there might be fire where there's smoke. Others think it's a carefully crafted legal strategy. One thing's certain, the drama extends far beyond daytime television, and as we peel back the layers, you'll see how deeply these charges could cut, professionally, financially, and personally. But before diving into whether Sunny and her husband might be facing a career meltdown, a financial nightmare, or worse, let's lay out the core accusations. After all, when the word RICO enters the conversation, you know the federal government isn't playing around. If the lawsuit holds water, Emmanuel Hostin's medical reputation hangs in the balance, and Sunny's platform could be rocked by association. Yet, if it's all smoke and mirrors, the countersuit could flip the script in a way no one anticipates. The story doesn't stop with legal paperwork, it stretches into the realm of public opinion, with fans rallying around Sunny while skeptics demand transparency. Could this be one of those cases where the truth is more shocking than any rumor? Or will the Hostins emerge victorious, proving once and for all that the allegations are baseless? You're about to see why this isn't just another celebrity lawsuit. It's a potential turning point for one of daytime television's most recognized voices. So let's begin by digging into the heart of the matter. What exactly are these explosive allegations, and why have they triggered such a massive reaction from the media, the public, and even Sunny's closest friends? Buckle up. The next few minutes might change everything you thought you knew about this high-profile couple. At the core of the uproar is a lawsuit filed by the American Transit Insurance Company accusing Dr. Emmanuel Hostin of involvement in a large-scale insurance fraud scheme. We're not talking about minor billing errors or petty misconduct. This is allegedly one of the biggest federal RICO cases New York has seen in recent years. For those unfamiliar, RICO, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, is a legal net designed to capture organized, systematic fraud, or worse. It's a tool often associated with mob busts and massive conspiracy charges, which is why eyebrows shot up the moment Dr. Hostin's name appeared on the complaint.
You know, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, you know, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance. I'd rather beg for forgiveness than ask for permission.
It doesn't always work out the way you want it to. Sometimes you can get lucky, but sometimes, you got very lucky.
Yeah.
According to the lawsuit, Dr. Hostin and his medical practice took part in a wide-ranging scheme to defraud insurers, raising concerns about whether certain treatments, consultations, or procedures were genuine or inflated. The American Transit Insurance Company isn't exactly a small-time player. Their involvement suggests they've gathered stacks of evidence they believe will stand up in federal court. If their claims hold, Dr. Hostin could be on the the hook for damages that go well beyond finances. His license and entire professional reputation could hang in the balance. On the surface, the allegations paint Dr. Hostin as a key player in a conspiracy designed to bleed insurance companies dry, yet no direct evidence has been publicly revealed. There's talk of internal documents, suspicious billing patterns, and questionable patient referrals, but details remain under lock and key, fueling speculation about what prosecutors really have. Are these charges an exaggerated attempt to scare high-profile defendants into settling, or do they point to something more sinister? So far, neither side seems willing to budge. Even those who merely skim the headlines can sense the magnitude of this situation. A RICO charge isn't something people walk away from lightly. For Dr. Hostin, renowned for his surgical expertise, it's a threat to his livelihood. For Sunny, it could mean a permanent cloud over her public persona if these allegations gain traction. Yet the story quickly gets more interesting as we learn about Dr. Hostin's response and the legal strategies in play, which might flip the narrative in unexpected ways. Before we get to that, keep in mind the potential fallout. Even unproven accusations can lead to irreparable damage, especially when federal authorities and major insurance firms are involved. One day, you're performing surgeries in a top-tier hospital. The next, you're in the crosshairs of relentless attorneys whose entire mission is to find wrongdoing. The question is, can Dr. Hostin fight his way out of this corner? If so, how? When faced with what some would call a legal tsunami, Dr. Hostin isn't backing down. He's hired a high-powered legal team that includes names like Mark Garagos and Daniel Feitz, both known for taking on high-profile cases and occasionally turning them on their head. Their first move? Dismissing the allegations as completely baseless and signaling a countersuit for millions of dollars if the insurance company doesn't withdraw its claims. It's a bold tactic, and it suggests the Hostins aren't just playing defense, they're preparing to go on the offensive. Legal experts speculate that this approach is designed to put pressure on the accusers. By threatening a massive countersuit, Dr. Hostin's team hopes to dissuade a lengthy court battle and possibly force a settlement. They argue the lawsuit is fueled by either misunderstanding or malicious intent, pointing out that complex insurance billing practices often get misread or misconstrued. If the countersuit goes forward, we might see an even bigger spectacle unfold in the courtroom. Publicly, Dr. Hostin's attorneys remain confident. They claim to possess evidence that will not only clear his name, but expose questionable tactics on the part of the insurance company. Whether those claims hold water is, of course, uncertain.
It's always the people that always do the pointing, and it always comes back to them, all right? So when you said this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York, you guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia case. Like the mafia one was number one. This one takes it over. So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for the kickbacks.
Lawsuits of this magnitude can drag on for years, and each side typically unveils evidence slowly, ensuring they maintain strategic advantages. Still, the aggression displayed by Dr. Hostin's team suggests they believe they have a winning hand, or at least a hand strong enough to intimidate. Behind the scenes, though, the tension must be immense. With Dr. Hostin's surgical career at stake, every legal filing becomes a high-stakes gamble. If the countersuit fails, or if additional evidence supports the RICO charges, the repercussions could be life-altering. Throw in the glare of national media, and you have a perfect storm of stress. Friends and colleagues say the couple is determined to stand their ground, but that level of confidence can sometimes mask desperation. In situations like these, one would expect Sunny Hostin to be front and center, given her background as a federal prosecutor and legal analyst. Yet, she's chosen a different path, staying uncharacteristically quiet. It's a departure from her usual outspoken persona, which begs the question, is this silence a wise legal strategy or a sign of deeper turmoil? Sunny Hostin built a reputation as one of the more assertive voices on The View, unafraid to call out hypocrisy or injustice, regardless of political affiliation. So when allegations against her husband surfaced, many assumed she'd address them head-on. Instead, Sunny's approach has been subdued. Some might say evasive. She's offered only surface-level comments, sticking to generic statements about trusting the legal process. For someone whose career is partly based on legal commentary, this reticence feels unusual. Some viewers find her reserved stance respectful, interpreting it as a mother and wife protecting her family's privacy during a difficult time. Others, however, see it as a strategic move orchestrated by her husband's legal team. After all, anything Sunny says publicly could end up as evidence or be twisted by the opposition in court. In high-profile cases, cases, silence can be both a shield and a sword, signaling that you're not willing to engage until absolutely necessary. Yet the court of public opinion marches on, and speculation often fills the void left by silence. Critics argue that if the charges were truly baseless, Sunny would be the first to debunk them, especially given her legal acumen. Supporters counter that the situation is more complicated, involving confidentiality, potential gag orders, and the risk of incriminating statements. Whatever the truth, Sunny's hush-hush approach continues to fuel rumors, both among fans and within the media. Interestingly, her colleagues on The View have been relatively quiet as well. The show thrives on controversy, but when one of its co-hosts is directly involved, that dynamic changes. Publicly, there's been no major address of the allegations, which leads some to wonder if network executives are urging caution. If that's the case, then viewers may not hear the full story until the dust settles in court, if it ever settles at all. The tension is palpable, and many are on the edge of their seats, wondering how this might impact Sunny's future on one of television's most watched daytime platforms. Will she remain a staple figure on The View, or will the growing scrutiny force her off-screen, at least temporarily? To answer that, we need to examine the delicate balance between a show's reputation and the personal lives of its hosts.
Page Six has exclusively learned that Sunny Hostin and her husband Dr. Emmanuel Hostin are preparing for a legal battle to fight accusations that he committed federal insurance fraud. The View co-host and the orthopedic surgeon have hired lawyers Mark Garagos and Daniel Thwaites after Emmanuel was named in one of the largest federal RICO cases ever filed in New York. Garagos threatened legal action to the tune of $5 million against the American Transit Insurance Company, which named Emmanuel and his medical practice in its lawsuit. In a letter seen by Page Six, Garagos blasted the lawsuit as, quote, completely baseless and without any factual support, and threatened to countersue for millions if the plaintiffs don't withdraw what he called false and defamatory allegations. The letter further accuses the insurance organization and its attorneys of waging, quote, a public media smear campaign in the press to harass and defame Dr. Hostin, his wife, and their children by attempting to weaponize his wife's celebrity.
The View is no stranger to controversy. Over the years, it has seen hosts clash on political stances, personal beliefs, and hot-button social issues. Normally, these moments generate buzz and spike ratings. But when controversy zeroes in on a co-host's personal life, the stakes shift. Producers and network executives start worrying about brand image. Sponsors might question whether the show remains a safe investment. Viewers themselves might lose trust if they sense a lack of transparency. In Sunny's case, her absence, or even subdued presence, could have ripple effects on the show's chemistry and credibility. On one hand, her unique blend of legal insight and empathy is a cornerstone of her appeal. If she were to step back or be forced to leave, the show would lose a critical voice. On the other hand, continuing to feature her prominently while the lawsuit unfolds could invite daily scrutiny, overshadowing other segments and turning The View into a legal soap opera. Rumors have already started circulating. Some insiders claim producers are supportive of Sunny, arguing that she's entitled to her personal life remaining private. Others whisper that higher-ups are keeping a close eye on audience reactions, poised to make a drastic decision if ratings slip or negative publicity grows too intense. In the age of social media, one viral moment can define a public figure's trajectory, and network executives are well aware of that risk. Meanwhile, Sunny's co-hosts are reportedly offering moral support behind the scenes, though none are willing to speak openly about the matter. The friction is real, but carefully contained. If the RICO case escalates, that containment might fail, leading to a scenario where Sunny either takes a break or addresses the issue head-on in a dedicated segment. The mere possibility of that happening has fans on both sides bracing for what could be a landmark moment for daytime TV. For now, the show goes on with the usual banter, celebrity guests, and topical discussions. Yet behind the cameras, tension builds. Every day that passes without a clear resolution raises questions about how much longer producers can maintain the status quo. And as the media spotlight intensifies, fans are forming strong opinions, some supportive, some critical, which leads us to the broader public reaction surrounding this case. Few daytime hosts enjoy as fervent a fan base as Sunny Hostin. Her followers praise her sharp intellect, legal background, and compassionate stance on social issues. With the lawsuit looming, many of these fans have taken to social media to show solidarity, insisting the Hostin family is being unfairly targeted. They argue that it's all too easy to file file a lawsuit in today's litigious society, and high-profile figures often become easy marks for opportunists. On the flip side, there's a vocal group of critics who believe the allegations might hold water. For them, the involvement of a major insurance company and the mention of RICO charges carry weight. They question whether the Hostins are using their fame and resources to sidestep accountability. Some skeptics even point to the promise of a multi-million-dollar countersuit as a scare tactic, rather than a genuine legal claim. Then there are those who lie somewhere in the middle, people who aren't sure what to believe. They acknowledge that lawsuits can sometimes be frivolous, but also recognize that large insurance companies typically don't go after well-known figures unless they're confident in their evidence. This middle group is waiting for concrete proof or an official statement from the courts, refusing to jump to conclusions.
For me, the two moments are connected in a couple of ways, but I decided to become a prosecutor because I saw my uncle stabbed in front of me. And I saw that he didn't seem to matter to the police. He didn't seem to matter to prosecutors. Sort of sat down and dictated a lot of my memories, and I just started from the beginning. I started from my childhood in the South Bronx projects, talked about my mother, my father, you know, the fact that they sacrificed everything for me and sort of lived lives of dreams deferred and poured everything.
Meanwhile, media outlets of all stripes are capitalizing on the intrigue. Tabloids frame the situation in sensational headlines, while more reputable publications tread carefully, citing legal documents without drawing firm conclusions. Talk shows, podcasts, and social media influencers dissect every crumb of information. Each platform offers its own spin, feeding a cycle of speculation that can easily overshadow factual updates. In the midst of this media storm, one aspect that keeps re-emerging is Dr. Hostin's philanthropic work and the couple's seemingly stable family life. Such community involvement clashes dramatically with the serious fraud allegations at hand. This juxtaposition, philanthropist-surgeon versus alleged conspirator, drives even more debate. Some see it as proof that Dr. Hostin couldn't possibly be guilty. Others argue that a charitable facade doesn't necessarily negate illegal behavior. By now, it's evident that this isn't just a legal clash, it's a full-blown battle for public opinion. Depending on how the lawsuit unfolds, both Sunny and Emmanuel could see their reputations drastically altered. Yet the issues don't stop with the couple's image. The deeper we dig, the more whispers we hear about possible motives and conspiracy theories swirling around the lawsuit itself. It's no secret that high-profile lawsuits often attract wild theories, ranging from political vendettas to personal grudges. In the Hostin family's case, rumors span the gamut. Some believe the lawsuit is a politically motivated attack against Sunny for her outspoken views on controversial topics. She's never been shy about challenging public figures, and it's possible someone took offense. Could that someone have enough power to orchestrate a targeted legal assault? Others suggest a more personal motive. With Dr. Hostin's success as an orthopedic surgeon, perhaps rival medical practices or disgruntled associates saw an opportunity to tarnish his name. Insurance fraud cases can sometimes arise from whistleblowers within the same industry. Maybe an internal rift or professional jealousy lit the fuse that ignited this lawsuit. If that's true, it raises questions about what else might come to light if the case goes to trial. Then there's the idea that this is all about financial gain. Lawsuits involving high net worth individuals can attract opportunists hoping for a hefty settlement. While insurance companies aren't typically in the business of frivolous claims, there's speculation that certain legal firms might push the boundaries if they smell a big payday. If Dr. Hostin's practice is as lucrative as people say, that alone could make him a prime target. But conspiracy theories don't stop there. Some claim the Hostins themselves orchestrated parts of this narrative to garner attention or sympathy, though that theory is less popular and somewhat illogical given the potential consequences. Nonetheless, a small group of social media voices question the timing of everything. Could the scandal be orchestrated to overshadow another controversy or boost ratings for The View? It's a stretch, but in an age where celebrity news often blurs the line between fact and fiction, anything becomes possible in the public imagination. Regardless of the true motives, these rumors and speculations fuel an environment where facts are scarce, but guesses run wild. Every interview snippet, every court document, and every public appearance by Sunny or Dr. Hostin is scrutinized for hidden clues. It's a recipe for endless intrigue.
She is not implicated in the lawsuit at all, but it's just, I mean, Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. But let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures. And look at her track record. How many times has she had to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all the stuff that she said on the show? And then she also, on Trump's win, calling the loss because of uneducated white women that Trump won.
We have to know that this is accused.
All accused. Yeah, all accused. But he's in the RICO. This is a big RICO case that her husband's in now.
The sort that keeps people hooked, waiting to see if the next revelation will confirm their suspicions or shatter their theories entirely. For the Hostins, sifting through this minefield of assumptions must be exhausting, yet they continue forward, backed by a legal team ready to counter any attack. That brings us to the family's next moves, how they'll navigate a crisis that could upend not just their finances and careers, but also their personal sense of stability. Sunny and Emmanuel Hostin face a daunting array of challenges, and their approach to this crisis will likely involve a multi-pronged strategy. On one level, there's the legal front, collecting evidence, preparing depositions, and coordinating with their lawyers on how best to respond to the RICO allegations. Dr. Hostin may also need expert witnesses who can dissect medical billing practices in detail, showing jurors the difference between standard procedures and alleged fraud. On another level, there's a public relations battle. Even if the Hostins ultimately win in court, reputational damage can linger. To combat that, they might engage PR professionals to shape the narrative and restore public confidence. This could mean more interviews, carefully curated social media posts, or even strategic appearances on The View, assuming network executives allow it. The goal? Shift the focus from suspicion to empathy, painting the family as targets of an overzealous lawsuit. Financially, the couple might explore ways to safeguard their assets. Legal battles of this magnitude can be costly, especially if countersuits escalate. Dr. Hostin might restructure his practice or forge new partnerships to ensure a steady income stream, even as parts of his operation come under scrutiny. Sunny, too, might branch out into new ventures or media opportunities that could offer a fallback if The View becomes less stable due to the scandal. Meanwhile, as parents, the Hostins face another layer of complexity, shielding their children from the fallout. Balancing the need for transparency with the need for emotional protection isn't easy. This is perhaps the most personal dimension of the crisis, one that often goes overlooked in the headlines. The children's lives shouldn't become tabloid fodder, yet public interest in the family remains relentless. With so many moving pieces, it's clear the family's path forward won't be simple. Much depends on how the lawsuit unfolds. If the Hostins can produce compelling evidence of their innocence, or if the case gets dismissed, their ordeal might gradually fade from public memory. But if more damning details emerge, the story could drag on indefinitely, impacting every aspect of their lives. Either way, the next major twist could come at any moment, whether it's a leaked document, a new witness stepping forward, or a sudden legal motion. The Hostins, for their part, seem intent on weathering the storm, determined to vindicate themselves and move on. The real question is whether public perception will ever fully recover, or if this scandal is destined to follow them wherever they go. In the end, the Hostin saga stands at the crossroads of celebrity culture, legal intrigue, and the relentless pursuit of public opinion. A beloved daytime TV host faces scrutiny for remaining quiet, while her husband's reputation as a respected surgeon hangs by a thread. The looming RICO charges could be the biggest test of their resolve, or they might prove to be hollow claims that fall apart under scrutiny. We've explored the allegations, the legal counterpunches, the impact on Sunny's position on The View, and the swirling theories that multiply with each passing day. Fans remain fiercely divided, media outlets can't get enough of the story, and the Hostin family themselves appear both embattled and resolute. The stakes are undeniably high, and the consequences could be life-changing, no matter which way the court's gavel falls. Maybe Dr. Hostin truly is the victim of overblown accusations, or perhaps the insurance company has a solid case that's about to reshape his entire career. Maybe Sunny's silence is a tactical masterstroke, or it might be the result of internal turmoil that even she couldn't have predicted. What's certain is that each layer of this unfolding drama fuels curiosity and debate far beyond the usual celebrity headlines. So, as you step away from this story, consider what it reveals about the delicate balance between fame, public trust, and legal accountability. Could this happen to anyone under the glaring spotlight of daytime TV? Or is there a deeper narrative at play that shows how rapidly the powerful can find themselves cornered by allegations, be they truthful or fabricated? In a world where every headline sparks 1,000 theories, the Hostin family's journey reminds us that even those with influence aren't immune to life-altering turmoil. Where do you stand on the issue? Is Sunny Hostin's family caught in a web of unfounded accusations, or is there more to these charges than meets the eye? One thing's for sure, this story isn't over, and the final outcome could surprise us all. Until the next next big reveal, the Hostins remain under a microscope, and the public remains enthralled, waiting to see whether this once celebrated couple emerges battered and beaten, or vindicated and stronger than ever.